Hello and welcome to the Warmness Machine podcast. My name is Lindsay. This is a fiber arts podcast. I am a crocheter, a knitter, and a spinner. And this episode is all about what I have finished making, what I am currently making, what I will be making, and updates on my long-term projects. Right now I am wearing a finished long-term project. If you don't know, a long-term project for me is when I get some fiber, whether it is dyed or undyed. I have yet to get into the dyeing world, but I will get there soon. So this fiber is from Hello Yarn in the colorway Parched. I purchased it last year. I spun it and then I turned it into a shawl. The whole point of a long-term project for me is to work on a technique. And in this project, I worked on two techniques. One was a spinning technique called short backward. If you're familiar with spinning, you're pulling the fiber back, 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 and then winding it on, back, back, back. So I would be holding the fiber, say in this hand, and instead of pushing forward, I would be pulling it back, pulling it back, pulling it back, and then letting it wind onto the bobbin. I enjoyed that technique. It's a lot faster than short forward, which can also be called like inchworm or something or other. And yeah, so let's talk about the shawl now. The second technique was lace. This is the Some Me Time Shawl by Locatelli. It is marvelous. As I'm looking at it, I see all these like little bits and bobs. The fiber that I purchased from Hello Yarn was Polworth, which is the sheep breed, and it was mixed with silk. So I don't know if you can see. I don't think you can see, but it looks like little cobwebs on the inside of the holes. I love lace. I love lace so much. I think it is fantastic. So let's talk about the making process. I learned how to do lifelines with this project. And then at the end, I decided, oh, I know the pattern so well. I'm not going to use any lifelines. And then I made a ton of mistakes. And then I put it away in the corner and I was like, I don't know what to do. I was very upset with myself. And then I said, Lindsay, just finish it. And it turns out I can't even find the mistakes. So please, if something's in the naughty corner, bring it out. It doesn't matter. I just adore this. I just adore it. Now, the pattern called for DK weight yarn or sport weight yarn. I spun on the thinner side, so I spun fingering weight mostly, a mix between fingering and sport. So some parts are thick, some parts are thin. Didn't get anywhere near DK weight, but that's neither here nor there. And I thought after I blocked it, oh, it's not going to be super warm because it's a fingering weight. That's not real at all. It is exceptionally warm and it is exceptionally beautiful. And I think every time I make something, I'm like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever made. And that's exactly what I said after this. So long-term project complete. The Some Me Time Shawl by Locatelli. If you are a beginner, I don't know if I've said this already, but if you are a beginner lace knitter, I recommend this pattern for you 100%. There's no charts. She writes everything out. It is super duper easy to follow, super duper clear. I know that I'm going to get on a soapbox and say something. I watch Sari Nordland's podcast called Sari Knits. I'll leave a link down below. She was saying that like it's not about it's not about making something gorgeous. It's about writing a pattern that people can understand. And when you see, like, I don't have a lot of, I'm new to the knitting world. I've done a lot of crochet, and because I'm I'm advanced crocheter. So when I'm getting a pattern like that, it's very hard for me to say, oh, this might not be easy for a beginner, you know, or this might be really difficult for someone who's an intermediate or whatever. That's totally out the window because I already know everything, right? But as a beginner knitter, I'm looking at these patterns and I'm like, wow, the way that they're writing them is so straightforward, following a very detailed like template of how to write. And I enjoy it and I love it immensely. And so it's really about the pattern, right? It's not just about the design. And this is one of those patterns where you think, oh, it's super duper easy and simple, but the way it's written is so accessible. So I can't say enough about Joji Locatelli's pattern. It was my first pattern that I knit by her, and I cannot wait to knit another pattern by her because that one was so remarkably simple and easy, and just a really good foray into lace knitting. So I'm off my soapbox now. Okay. My second pattern that I finished are these socks. This was a pattern called Soxsploration, the Shadow Wrap Heel. It is from Denise DeSantis. The yarn is Vesper sock yarn in the colorway Arctic Mermaid, which cool name, super cool name. This Soxsploration heel is a shadow wrap short row heel where it's symmetrical on both sides. And so because Denise DeSantis is a sock enthusiast, aficionado, expert, she is always like looking for new and better ways to do a heel. And this heel, I'm going to see if I can show it to you, is super duper cool. You can see that it's on both sides the same. The only reason that it might not be the same is because I am not a thrower. I am a picker. I'm a continental knitter. So I hold my yarn in my left hand. This is because I learned to crochet first. A very good friend of mine told me, you might want to try being a continental knitter. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, so the only thing that I don't like about this sock is probably the heel. Not that I don't like this heel, but I just feel like it's not as strong as a heel flap and gusset. And yeah, and that's it. I love the yarn. I love the sock. I've been wearing these all the time, and I'm just so excited that I actually have this skill to make socks. But that would be my only thing, is like, oh, I'm a little worried that the heel is going to wear faster than a heel flap and gusset. Other than that, the directions were super duper easy to follow, and obviously there is a YouTube tutorial online that go along with the pattern. Super simple and easy. I couldn't say more about it. So now we are going to take a look at another, let me look. So the other completed item or finished object that I have are the world's simplest mittens, a pattern from Tin Can Knits, I think it's called. The world's simplest mittens, yeah. And it's very true. So these are for my son. He was playing soccer in the rain and it was very cold. And since then it has been exceptionally warm. So I am very frustrated with the fact that it's going to be super duper warm. But they did say it's going to snow in 4 days. So he is ready. The only like different, so this yarn is from Patton's. It's just Pattern sock yarn that you can pick up at like Michael's or Joann's, a big box store. And yeah, that's it. I changed the color pattern because it was going to go more purple up, just so it could have a little bit of continuity there. But other than that, these were super duper easy. Took me a couple days. What's different from the pattern? I did a Kitchener stitch at the end, which sometimes people will call grafting, but I like the word Kitchener. So I did a Kitchener stitch at the end, which just joins them kind of seamlessly, and then did a little bit of that, and then just at the thumb, and then just went ahead and boom. So this is pretty simple. These are super duper simple. When it talks about making the, I guess it's called a gusset, you just do increases on either side. And you can pick your increases. You can pick the ones that you like. And that's the only thing that I would say, like, oh, you would have to know the increase that you want to use, you know? Other than that, super duper easy and super duper fun. Only thing is I actually really like, this is a 1x1 rib, and I don't know why I like a 2x2 rib, but I'm learning the things that I like. That's a good thing, I think. So yeah. But I'm gonna make more of these. I think Tin Can Knits, I've re-knit more of their patterns than I think anybody else. And I think that's the point of why they make their patterns, so that everyone can knit it. And I adore them. So again, great pattern for beginners, super duper simple and easy. That's it. That's all I have to say. Okay. In my super duper cute hand spun crochet sock bag, I made this for socks. I didn't made it to make it. And I only had enough yarn for, you know, this. This was like leftover sock yarn, or not sock yarn. This was leftover hand spun that was worsted weight, and I wanted to use it, and I wanted to make a little bag, and I love this bag so much. My mom was like, Lindsay, you always make bags. And I was like, well, Mom, this is the nicest bag. So yes, so it holds 2 balls of yarn and DPNs and a pattern, which is right here. So I can fit my pattern in, and I can just stick this in my purse or in whatever bag I have and just stealthily take my knitting with me. I am working on the second sock on my DPNs. I still like Magic Loop, but because I love this bag, and because I actually prefer DPNs, I have DPNs now, double pointed needles, if you are unaware. So double pointed needles, pointy, pointy, for anyone who's watching that's new. And yes, this is the second sock. And this sock I cast on for the Falling Leaves Cowl, which is the Falling Leaves Knit Along hosted by Denise DeSantis. Mostly, I think, on Instagram. I finished one sock. I'll show you. Oh, I don't know how to wind a ball of yarn. I don't know what my problem is. Sometimes I just mess up all the way. So let me show you. We have, without destroying the sock, we have 2 balls of yarn in there and a little pattern, and that's all you can fit in there, but that's all I need. And so here's the finished sock. The knit along ends on November 15th. It started September 15th, so I'm trying to get this done before November 15th. This colorway is Sweet Georgia yarn in the colorway Fauna. It is a discontinued colorway. And this colorway at the top is called Firewood. You'll see I forgot to do the toe. It's always something. I always forget to do something. Sometimes I'll do this and forget this. Lindsay. So I'll have to remember that. Anyway, I love it. I love it. So I have a subscription to the School of Sweet Georgia, which it does like a lot of, because I'm a multi-craft maker. I spin, I have a loom that my son uses more than I do. But I crochet, and I want to learn how to dye, and you know, all that other stuff. So I have this subscription that's actually not expensive, and this pattern is a customizable sock pattern. So you measure your foot, you do the calculations, and it shows you how to go about doing that, which I love. I love that, and you can just rewatch the videos as you need them. And so yeah, I did that. So I think that's all I have for the finished objects. Now I want to like just take a detour and go into my long-term spinning knitting project. Okay, so about my long-term project, like I said earlier, I get the fiber and I spin it up to knit it or crochet it. And I got some fiber from Hello Yarn in the colorway Eldritch Whale. And this is what is spun up thus far. Very gorgeous, very beautiful. And this is for the Maya cardigan, which I will insert a picture of below. Not below, I'll insert a picture. And this is unspun. This is not unspun, this is underplied. So it's not plied tightly enough. I need to run it through my spinning wheel again. But I have about 400 yards here. So I had to order actually some more yarn, and thank goodness she had some. She is now out of that fiber colorway. So more spinning to come for that. But that's the update on my long-term project right there. So the only other projects that I'm working on right now are gifts. There is this yarn that comes from Knitting the Stashes online shop. Very woolly, I love it. It is a DK weight yarn, I think. I think it is. Now I have no idea. I lost the whole thing. I don't know how to use a ball winder effectively. That's why it's like this. So yeah. So I messed up the ball winder and had to end up winding it by hand. And it is the Vincent Cowl. I'll insert a picture also here of that project, which is a gift for, I don't know who, but for somebody. And then we have our friends are having a baby, and I'm making some baby socks for them using this pattern. The pattern is called the Perfect Baby Sock. I believe it is free on Ravelry, and I'll put a link down to that below, and I'll insert a picture for you to see. And other than that, I really do want to kind of step into design. I've made some things for myself, obviously, and I would love to share that with others. But I'm I'm very nervous about being competent and writing a good pattern and things like that. So yeah, so I want to share with you just a swatch. This is a swatch that I'm working on right now. I'm going to do all the numbers for it. I did take a sweater design course. It was 2 classes. And I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot. And so and I did make a sweater that I did not publish a pattern for, but I have been getting a lot of compliments on that sweater. And so I thought, well, I'm gonna make this sweater for myself. Maybe I'll write a pattern for it. I don't know if I will, but either way, I'm gonna share the sweater with you because that's who I am. Thank you so much for joining me today. I just want to say I really, really enjoy all your comments, and I just look forward to hearing about what you're doing, what you're making, and all that. So yeah, so I just wanted to say that. I know that there's a lot going on in the world today, and there is a lot of pain and suffering and a lot of heartache, a lot of sadness. I've experienced it. I know everyone else has. And I wanted this podcast to be a little bit of joy and light, and not forgetting about all the stuff that's happening in the world and here in America, but just to kind of take a respite from it, because I do know that, we do need light, we do need joy, we do need, to take time for ourselves and have some healing. And that's what making is. Making is, remending yourself, remembering yourself. The word remember is like the re and member, like stitching yourself together. And so we need to remember to put ourselves back together. And yeah, so I just wanted to be that today. I don't want to bring anybody down. Don't want to neglect any kind of whatever's happening. Just wanted to say that, and just say that I hope that you're fighting the good fight, and that you're also taking time to love yourself and love the people around you and bring light to the world. So I hope that I've done that in this episode, and I will see you in my next episode. Thank you so much.